Ladies and gentlemen, it is currently 6:33 p.m. Central Time here on October 24th. Tonight we have a very cool opportunity, an opportunity that been looking forward to really since the Archaic Epidemic announced their upcoming five-piece EP, Carnivorous Diadem, right? That's how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Carnivorous Diadem.
Carnivorous Diadem. Okay,
Mm.
cool. Now that always seems to be a thing. It's like, especially
You're
with
good.
the single, but the
Yeah,
single like way far back. But yeah, basically we're here. We are spending some time with Ian, and we are getting familiar with the lyrical context of what will be this legendary five-piece EP. Be sure to check out the merch, check out the stream, like get ready for November 4th, people, because alongside Nine Dead's self-titled alongside Dayseeker's new Dark Sun record, Ingested, and the Ashes Lie Still record. There are so many albums and EPs, so much music coming out on that day, and I might end up staying up overnight just to listen to all this stuff. But
yeah.
until then, basically, we're going to be starting off pretty casually, and we're going to be digging into this EP. So, starting off, Ian, welcome to the Under the Skin sessions, to say the least.
Thank you for
Awesome to
having.
have you here. Yeah, man. It's great to have you here. And to say the least, like I was always itching at like, hey, why don't we do like Under the Skin of Disillusion? And both of us were just like, we'll wait until the new EP. Like
Yeah.
but basically starting off, I wanted to go ahead and just pluck off of you a back of the book summary for what this EP is, lyrically speaking.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much open heart surgery. It's not a concept album. Um, it's a lot of just personal stuff, and there's a little bit of like, I guess you can call it political view. There's a maybe one or two tracks that have like a political, but mostly it's open heart surgery. Um, with myself and a couple of the other guys included.
Sweet. Yeah.
It's a super personal EP, whereas Disillusion was it was like a hybrid concept slash personal, but
Yeah. It was a mix. It might have been a little bit confusing to talk about. So naturally, we're just kind of like, appreciating the music, but kind of letting it hang out on its own. So with
right.
that being said, this EP, like I cannot wait for it. The album cover is super cool too, which if you want, I would be happy to discuss a little bit about that later on, just
Yeah,
because, the album cover isn't, that's not where the words are. You know what I mean? That's like
yeah,
the visual representation for the EP.
yeah.
So starting off with track one, what do we got going on? Because quite truthfully, I forgot the track listing lineup, and I even have the Facebook page up right here. But
Yeah. Well, track one is the title track, Carnivorous Diadem. And we kind of went with that approach. We had a couple of the tracks kind of in mind for an opening track. A couple of them would work for an opening track, but we thought it would be kind of cool to like, this is like welcome
yeah,
to Carnivorous Diadem. You know, and it's very probably one of the heaviest tracks we've written as far as like it's like just bone crushing. It's full speed. You know, it's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite track on the whole EP.
okay,
But yeah, Carnivorous Diadem. Uh, Essentially, is about just digging deep and realizing all the mistakes that you've made has impacted the ones around you. And it's your cross to bear, and you're gonna wear that crown, pretty much, so to speak, of your own demise, and you know, just trying to find acceptance in that, and move on with your life, pretty much.
ideally, just kind of looking back, atoning, and like just looking back on any of the sin, any of the stupid shit that you might have done in the
Yeah,
past, realizing that,
yeah,
acknowledging it, absorbing it,
right.
and then moving forward.
Yeah, and like the carnivorous part, thought like you're devouring any emotion of yourself, but also your loved ones. through your destructive path, pretty much. Either rather that be selfishness or, you know, sloth. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you just devour anything in your path, and like I said, that's your cross to bear. That's your crowning achievement.
Yeah. And then I like basically looking into that a little bit. Carnivorous Diadem. I can only assume that's Latin. So is that, well, what does that mean for us Wonderbread white folk over here?
Yeah. It's basically like it's pretty much like a crown. It's almost face value. You know, it's devouring of flesh. It's yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, that's a great phrase. And I know that with the merch bundles.
Yeah.
Yeah, legit. And I know that with one of the hoodies you guys had on your merch spread, there's also the like the iconic line, the weight of the crown, or like realize the weight of the crown.
Yes, succumb to the weight of the crown.
Succumb to the weight of the crown.
Yeah.
And is that a lyric that you ended up attacking, or one that Dan ended up attacking?
Yeah. That was a lyric of mine. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. And then yeah,
Dan went crazy on his part.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Hey, anyone who's a fan of Dan Watson's gonna get their rocks off.
Their fair share. Yeah. No, that's always great. And I guess that would be really the final question concerning this track is like, obviously we all love Dan Watson, but like, why Dan Watson for the title track and featuring on the title track?
Well, I've always really wanted to work with Dan. And I think the part just fit way too well. It made sense. And I think you shouldn't really try to fit someone else in there if it makes sense. And like I said, we did, you know, we ultimately went with this as the opener. And we thought, what better too on top of it than having a feature especially from Dan.
Yeah.
And I think he definitely helps elevate that opening track. And he was such a pleasure to work with. He's such a sweetheart, man. Yeah, he was just incredible, and he's a great guy, and he was excited about it.
Yeah,
and that's really was what was cool.
That was the cream of the crop. No, I absolutely understand that. And I remember during like the Luciferus album cycle when they were on tour with Lorna Shore, I had the opportunity to meet him as well. And like, he was so much smaller than I thought he would be. Like, yeah. I'm just a towering Wonderbread white wall.
How
over
tall
here.
Are you, by the way?
I'm like 6'1", 6'2". I just hunch over a lot.
Oh, man.
Like, like even Brandon Cooper of Warm Shepherd mentioned that when I saw Warm Shepherd earlier this year live in person. He's like, "Oh fuck, you're a lot taller than I thought you'd be." But yeah, no, it was awesome. So I mean, absolutely great opening, just great introduction to what is a short but sweet EP from the Archaic Epidemic here.
I can't wait for people to hear this track. 100%.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm most likely going to be listening to it like while I'm taking off to Phoenix, Arizona. I'm just like,
I hope so, man.
Track. It's going to be great. I can't wait. Track 2 being Death of a Sparrow. Not only, you know, like first of all, not just one, but he got 2 features here. But this is one of the tracks that people have not heard yet. You know, there's also the title track, there's the Pale Door, but this is another one. So like Death of a Sparrow, what do we got going on here lyrically?
So Death of a Sparrow, it's kind of weird. Like this track, at first the name was the first one. Came up with the name of the track first, and it was only because when Andrew sent the initial demo that became Death, the chorus part, I kept hearing in my head something of a sparrow, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but I kind of ran with that, and I was like, okay, maybe I can play with it. And I looked up sparrow, the symbolism of a sparrow, and it holds a lot of symbolism. And one of them is if you see a dead sparrow, it could mean the end of freedom.
Ooh.
So I ran with it, and basically it's about the world in the future. being stripped away of freedom if we you know, if world leaders keep down this path of, you know, selfishness. Like I said, it's one of the political tracks. Like, it's not really like personal, but yeah, it's essentially like a look into the future, a future where it's so bleak, and you know, human rights have been stripped, and basically freedom. Like, you're no longer living any resemblance of life,
right?
And thus the death of a sparrow, which we
I
kind of
like that.
Yeah.
No, I really like that. And I mean, whether it's personal or not, that is still like an ideology that you hold dear, and that a lot of people hold dear right now, as we seem to crawl closer and closer to a massive conflict. And
like, at the time of like writing it, it was a very, I mean, it's still kind of going now, but it was a very like bleak time as far as like politics, I think, where like, you know, no one you know, it was just a touchy subject, I think.
Very touchy.
Where people had problems with, you know, whoever was in office, and, you know, like, the future still looks bleak. And I think, that was part of the driving factor, like wanting to make that the lyrical content for that one.
Yeah, no, and it's very relevant, because I think a lot more people are sharing that same mindset. Like, doesn't matter really who's in office at this point to me. Like, there's shady shit going on no matter what. So you know,
and I think it's I don't, it's very me.
Right. But dangerous waters there.
It's not like I would do any better if I was in office, though. So
right. No, exactly. And that's the painful thing about politics is, you know, if you even had that opportunity, chances are you would be like obligated to follow certain rules, and those rules are like the reason fuck shit is happening. Anyways. So with that in mind, you know, loosely talking about a bleak future and a sense of hopelessness, the death of a sparrow, the deprivation of freedom, if you want to get really black and deathcore about the title, I guess. But we got Devin Duarte, the homie, and Dan Tucker from Crown Magnetar and Hell Followed With. So obviously you were like, you can't really decide. What's up?
Which more people need to talk about and Hell Followed With.
I agree. Absolutely. So obviously this was a situation where you're like, okay, so I don't want to choose one or the other, you know, like I kind of get that like headcanon impression. What was the creative process as far as just featuring them both and being like, you know what, you get a spot and you get a spot and then I get a spot and we'll just make it unstoppable. We'll make it ruthless.
Yeah, well, I think we kind of wanted to do something different. We kind of always envisioned having at least one track, having a couple of vocalists on. I think at one point we had talked about having a track with 3. Like, we were just kind of just throwing ideas out. We initially had someone else in mind that fell through, and then we kind of thought, hey, you know, you're like, Devin has become a really good homie, and including Dan, and it just made sense, especially given, you know, their track record with the music that they play and the style of the song, which is kind of ironic. I think people are going to be kind of thrown off with the style of the song, with them being on it, but in a good way.
Yes,
very much a different flavor for them as well. Yeah, again, just like Dan, it just made sense. Like I said, like,
yeah, sick. No, I mean, go off of your instincts, kind of involve as many musicians as possible, sustain that sense of brotherhood and community, if nothing else.
Yeah,
I like that. I like it. I like that.
Yeah, and they were again, they were just obviously, like, you know, they're just insanely people, man. Like,
no, they're great.
They're great to work with.
Sick. No, I can only imagine, and I cannot wait to hear this track when I get the opportunity on November 4th. Stay tuned, people. Track 3 would be Absolution. this was really our introduction to what would be this EP.
Yep.
So, like, what do we got going on with Absolution? You guys were in a church and shit in the music video, and like it was nice and pretty, and just unleash it. What's going on with this track?
A whole lot of chaos. I know that. We just kind of wanted to kind of dip our toes into the black and deathcore type of thing, I think, a little bit, and that was our homage to that. Lyrically, yeah, it's all about trying to find peace with the things you've done wrong in the past, trying to find that absolvance of sin, and it's gonna suck to get there. Like, you're gonna have to fight off your own demons. You're gonna have to say a lot of things you don't want to say out loud to yourself, and and it may hurt you in the end, but it's better off that way. The hope of finding inner peace with yourself.
Sick. No, I like that.
Like the line, "I am absolved of absolution," which Luke helped write. Which Luke actually helped write a good chunk of that song. Yeah. But yeah.
Fun. All right. And then that's a solid track. Love that. And I mean, I remember when I first listened to that, I'm sure you guys saw the video. I was like, whoa, wow, oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, great. It was so great. I loved it.
Shout out to Brad, who was in that video. We put him through hell in the heat, trying to get his shots. So shout out to the homie. And also check out, he's a rapper too. So check out Drab Raps.
Drab Raps.
Drab
okay,
Rap.
Cool. And I'll have you send me the link for that. That way you can put it in the description below. That way people can go check it out. Absolutely. Track 4, Annihilation. Which, me being a weeb, I think that's pretty easy to tell. Me being a weeb and me loving the entertainment arc, entertainment district arc, and just everything about Demon Slayer, and like just people in the comment section for my reaction for Annihilation were just like, this actually has to be one of the first songs I've heard in a long time that just shoves your face and just grinds it through concrete, especially near the very end. So Annihilation, lyrically, what's going on, Ian?
It's pretty simple. It's about war, and eventually we're just gonna kill each other off. Like, the writing's on the wall. We're gonna, we've already head down that path a while back, and that I think that's where it's gonna head to, is that we're just gonna annihilate each other.
Yeah, fair enough. And I can only imagine that Ronnie Canizaro from Born of Osiris, that was definitely another circumstance similar to Dan Watson and similar to Devin Duarte and Dan Tucker, where you're like, you know what, it just makes sense. But also, I've loved Born of Osiris for a long time, so can we get Ronnie on a track, please?
Well, and like, again, like for that track, we had a lot of people in mind, and all of us have been huge fans of Born of Osiris since high school. And me and Andrew were here one night when we were kind of getting everything ready to get sent off, mixed and mastered, and we were listening through the tracks, and Ronnie's part came up, and we both said, if high school me was sitting here right now, they would be pinching themselves. Yeah. You know, and especially, I mean, we didn't think Ronnie would really respond as well as he did. I mean, he was super stoked on how the track sounded, and I mean, it was insane. Like, it was just so cool.
Yeah.
To get his kind of stamp of approval.
No, that's badass, man. Full circle.
Yeah. It was just insane.
Yeah, man. Like, I had the opportunity to see Veil of Maya and Born of Osiris earlier this year when they came through town with Hunt the Dinosaur, Victims, and Slave Squad. and goddamn, like I've never seen any of those bands really except for Victims before ever live. So like it was a real treat.
Yeah, Born of Osiris is wild live.
They are wild live. They keep the same energy that they did with the Angel or Alien cycle, because that's really how I got introduced to them.
Really?
Like I had known about them for a long time, but more or less when everybody was ranting and raving about them, I was more or less into Asking Alexandria, because for me personally, and this is just coming from someone who didn't listen to the music at all, when I thought of Born of Osiris and After the Burial, I'm like, isn't that like the same band though? Like I authentically thought they were the same band for the longest time, and they were both on the same record label. So I'm like, is this like a side project going on? Like what is it? It sounds so similar.
Oh man, yeah, they were collecting them.
Right? No, seriously.
Yeah, I was introduced to them probably around Machine came out, and that album just blew my mind. I remember hearing it for the first time. It was just crazy.
Yeah, I need to listen to a lot more records, and thank goodness that there are so many albums out there to listen to.
Ronnie's chaotic voice is so unique. Like, I don't know, something about him. But,
something about it, man. It's nice and crispy.
He's just nice and cute.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great way to sum it up.
Yeah.
But okay, then we got the concluding track. It's like literally people. So this is a speed run Under the Skin session, but it's for a great EP. So like it's cool to finally be doing speed runs and stuff. But track 5, The Pale Door. What do we got going on here to wrap up the EP?
Probably, if I remember correctly, the first track written for the EP, which was written before Dissolution even dropped.
Really?
Is that right, Andrew? The boys are here. Yeah, all of our pre-orders came in, so we're getting them ready to get shipped out. But
They were the oldest tracks. I think that one is older though.
Yeah.
Because that one, this hadn't dropped, and we were in the midst of writing that one.
Yeah. So this hadn't dropped yet, and we had already kind of like Pale Door. I cannot like emphasize this enough. Pale Door was sitting in our Dropbox for a good fucking like year. Like this was like right after we got done. Like Dissolution wasn't even like mixed, I don't think yet. Like, and we were already starting on this, and so I had ideas for this song for so long. So to finally fucking put it, down was so relieving, and it's probably my second favorite track on the EP. It's a good closer. It's very impactful. It's disgustingly fucking heavy. This has probably one of my favorite breakdowns in it. Lyrically, it's a very personal song, I would say. A lot of these songs are I kind of write like this anyway. I kind of write them so that you can take them as interpretation, take them as you will. And Pale Door definitely fits that mold a little bit, but I think for me, it's just a very personal song to someone that meant a lot to me, and just kind of like a goodbye in a way.
Naturally.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. The Pale Door symbolizes something, which I'll let people try to decipher that.
Fun. All right, cool. And yeah, that's a great way to wrap up the EP for Carnivorous Diadem.
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 I guess you could say it a couple different ways. I've heard it said diadem before, but
when I think of it like really like Latin and Italian, it's like Carnivorous Diadem, that type of thing. The diadem. But who knows? Tomato.
Yeah, dude.
Anyways, guys. And shout out to the guys in the back. I didn't even know you were here. That's cool.
Pre-orders are packed up, and hopefully get them sent out as soon as we can. They look similar naturally. That's the flag. but yeah, we're getting them sorted, and they fucking Legacy fucking killed the drop for sure.
Sick. No, it's awesome. And be sure to write all over my shit. Oh, dude, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to like walk around actually wearing Archaic Epidemic merch. Like that's gonna be sick. And that's right. Like before we wrap up, because I was just about to completely okay, cool, bye. No, album cover. What it for one, first impression I get, it kind of looks like it's AI art. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So obviously, like kind of building upon the symbolism with the title track, like bearing the weight, succumbing to the weight of the crown. There we go. Bing, correcting that in my brain. Like, is that kind of just like the strange imagery going on? Is just like the idea of this weird, corrupt crown with all these strange jewels on it? Like, what's going on?
Very infected, tainted crown. Yeah. We wanted something. We had a couple other pieces of artwork that we had gotten from people to choose from, but none of it really fit the theme. We just wanted something kind of simple.
Yeah.
And we kind of just poo-pooing around, and Andrew came, just kept fucking with that.
Yeah.
And and we chose not to have anything on the front. Just it's more like a symbol than anything, than an album cover type of feel. We don't have the name or the title on there. But yeah.
Sick. Yeah. And I mean, that way, very similar to bands like Wage War or Silent Planet, over time with like the progression and the buildup of your discography, basically when people think of this EP, they can think of that strange crown, and they can just kind of be like, oh, that's the crown EP. You know what I mean? That's like good for marketing and stuff.
Yeah. And like that's what we thought. Like we wanted something very clean and simple that people can automatically look at and know what it is. You know,
and I think
like,
you did pretty well in that standpoint.
Yeah.
But that is a great way to improve the Under the Skin formula, because I've been meaning to do that. It's just like, hey, what's up with the album cover? I never did that before. I don't know why, but now we have.
It's so funny with bands, because sometimes like I'll ask people like, hey, what is your album cover? Like signify. They're like,
we don't fucking know.
It looks cool.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes that's really what works. And I mean, if it works for you, then boom, bada bang, baby. As long as you can sell merch, then it works for you. But
honestly, like I think if it looks cool, people are gonna dig it.
Yeah, exactly. And I know I dig it. That's why I bought merch for it. So and I think that's a great way to wrap up another Under the Skin session. Keep in mind, people, that this Under the Skin session will be uploading the day of premiere for this 5-piece EP, and hopefully do you guys know like what time officially it's dropping, whether it's late Thursday night or is it like midnight?
I think it's midnight.
Okay, so in that case, yes, we will be doing an overnight session listening to all these various records, probably before I fly out, just because like, oh well.
Yeah.
But this has been another Under the Skin session, digging under the lyrical context of amazing records that, I mean, sometimes it like now have yet to even come out, which is super cool. Always a pleasure to sit down with Ian and be in the same space with the rest of the guys as well, because they're off in the background on Ian's end.
Yeah, they're hard at work while I sit here.
Sit here and talk.
Typical vocalist. That's right.
Typical vocalist. That's funny. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to stream this EP. Let the guys know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down below after listening to the EP and coming here for context on everything. And otherwise, buenas noches.
Thanks.